Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to another brand new video. I hope you guys are all doing well. So guys, in this video, I want to give you guys an update on what is exactly happening right now with, of course, Bitcoin and the entire cryptocurrency market. Now, I must say, guys, okay, looking at the Bitcoin chart, nothing is really happening with Bitcoin for the past few days, for the past few weeks even. Okay, as you guys can clearly see today, Bitcoin has not really been moving, okay, at all. If we go to the 4 hour time frame here, you guys can clearly see, right, that Bitcoin has not been moving. Okay, for the past 2 weeks, you guys can clearly see it's just been consolidating, right? You guys can obviously clearly see that we haven't really seen much movements for Bitcoin for the past few days, and of course for the past few weeks. And I just want to let you guys know that this is completely normal. We have seen this plenty of times, okay, where Bitcoin is not really moving. Okay, it's pretty much just going on the side. Okay, it's pretty much just consolidating, and this is not anything new. We have seen this plenty of times. For example, we know back in November, right? I don't know if you guys even remember this, okay, but we actually saw Bitcoin stuck, at pretty much $16,000. And guess what? If you invested in Bitcoin at this time, right, last November, when Bitcoin wasn't really moving, okay, and it was just in between, $16 to $17,000, mainly 16K, that would have been a great buying opportunity because that was potentially Bitcoin's bottom. This level right here, guys, when Bitcoin was in fact consolidating, a lot of people were concerning, right? Why isn't Bitcoin moving? Right at that time, Bitcoin was sort of boring. Okay, I felt like not a lot of people were in fact paying attention. And guess what? As of right now, during this time, during the cycle, this was potentially Bitcoin's bottom. Okay, during this bear market that we are in fact in right now so far. Okay, now do I think Bitcoin can go back down to this price level, even below $20,000? Honestly, my honest opinion, guys, I don't think we will ever see Bitcoin go back down to even $20,000. Okay, that's just my personal opinion. Okay, because if we really go to the weekly time frame here, you guys can clearly see that Bitcoin as of right now is already forming a new pattern, okay, from this falling wedge. Okay, this was in fact Bitcoin's all-time high, which was pretty much almost at $70,000. And you guys can see that Bitcoin was in fact having this falling wedge, right? You guys can clearly see that. Okay, and like I said, this was right here, Bitcoin's bottom, and you guys can clearly see Bitcoin recently just broke out of it. We know what happened in the beginning of this year in 2023 in January. Bitcoin broke out, okay, and it started pumping like crazy. So obviously a new pattern is forming. Okay, you guys can clearly see that from this falling wedge that we have in fact been seeing for the past year in 2022, right? We know that. So I don't think Bitcoin has the potential to, go back down all the way back down to $20,000. I think that's just very unlikely. But hey, if it does, then it does. But obviously, to cause Bitcoin to go back down at that price level, back down at 20K, something really, bad has to happen, right? So we will see. But everything so far is looking pretty good, guys. Right? Everything so far is looking pretty good. If we go back to the 4 hour time frame, you guys can clearly see that Bitcoin has not been moving. Go to the daily time frame. Like I said, back in November, Bitcoin was consolidating for a pretty long time, for a couple months, like literally for the past like few months, right? It wasn't really moving at all. And guess what? What Bitcoin was doing back here in November to pretty much January, right, the beginning of 2023, could potentially happen right now, because you guys can clearly see Bitcoin is in fact consolidating, right, for the past few days, even for the past few weeks. Like I said, Bitcoin has not been moving. So we could potentially see the exact same thing happen again, where Bitcoin pretty much just consolidates even more for the next few days, even maybe in the next few weeks. But I feel like Bitcoin has to do something really, really, really soon, guys. Okay. So if Bitcoin, okay, does in fact break this resistance line, which is pretty much at 30K, then we will 100% see Bitcoin, pump to, 40 to even $50,000. I really do believe sometime this year in 2023, I think Bitcoin has the potential here to at least pump up to at least over $50,000, guys. Now, the real question here is, when is Bitcoin going to be reaching 100K? And if Bitcoin reaches 100K, obviously that is in fact a new all-time high for Bitcoin, because Bitcoin's all-time high is pretty much at about $69,000, almost 70K. Okay, that was actually Bitcoin's all-time high, but I think Bitcoin will potentially reach $100,000 in the next year or so. Okay, so I really do believe the year 2024, Bitcoin has the potential to reach $100,000. Okay, and why do I say that? Well, I've said this plenty of times, right, guys? I've said this plenty of times because of the next halving event for Bitcoin, right? So every 4 years, guys, pretty much, right? Every 4 years, Bitcoin does in fact have a halving event, and every single time, no matter what, you guys can clearly see that, right? History does in fact repeat itself, and I am a big believer in that, right? History repeating itself. So you have to see 2013, we had a halving event, Bitcoin was down, and then it pumped after the halving happened, and then it obviously dropped back down. And then mid 2016 we had another one, Bitcoin was all the way down at $700, $750, and then it pumped all the way up to about $15,000. Okay, and then our most previous halving event happened in the year 2020. Okay, that's our most recent one. Bitcoin was around at $9,000, and it pumped all the way up to about $50,000. Okay, and then we drop back down. So this is where we are right now. So history does in fact repeat itself, guys. Every single time Bitcoin has a halving event, Bitcoin always tends to reach a new all-time high. So I think in the year 2024, towards the year 2024, okay, around October, November, or December in 2024, I think we will potentially see Bitcoin reach a new all-time high, and I think it's going to be at $100,000 per Bitcoin. That is just my personal opinion. Let me know in the comments down below, what are you guys' personal thoughts on that? Okay, but I've been telling you guys that many times. If you guys have in fact been watching my videos for the past few months even, right, I've been telling us that many times that I really do see Bitcoin reaching 100K, at least 100K by the year 2024 at least, because that is when, guys, we will in fact be in a bull market, right? The year 2024, 2025, and potentially even 2026, we should be in a bull market, because right now we're obviously still in a bear market, but that's obviously going to change in the next few months. Okay, so just to give you guys a little update on the Bitcoin monthly returns, we know what happened in January of this year. Obviously, it was in fact a great year for Bitcoin, not just Bitcoin, but other altcoins in the market. The entire cryptocurrency market was performing really, really, really well. Okay, and Bitcoin was pumping, giving a percentage of about 40% just in January. February, it really didn't move. March, as you see, it was in fact a great month as well for Bitcoin. Okay, pretty much 23%. And so far this month in April, guys, okay, our new month, Bitcoin so far is down 2.1%, but I feel like that's going to change. So far for the past few months, guys, for the past 3 months this year in 2023, we have been seeing greens, right? You guys can clearly see that. So who knows? For April, it could potentially change. It's only the 7th of April, so we still have time to see where Bitcoin's going to be heading. But yeah, so far, like I said, Bitcoin has not been moving at all. It's just been consolidating, right? It really has. So we're going to see what happens with Bitcoin in the next few days, and of course in the next few weeks. But the entire crypto market today, guys, okay, has not really been moving. The global crypto market cap is still over 1 trillion, 1.17 trillion. You guys can clearly see that, and it's down 0.65% today. So not much movements today, but everything is still holding up really well. Okay, yesterday we actually saw Dogecoin. I just want to talk about this real quick. We actually saw Dogecoin pump, decently, but now it is in fact dropping back down. So Dogecoin is actually down 7.7% today. Okay, for the past 24 hours, but for the past week it's up over 9.1%. So yeah, Dogecoin yesterday was actually pumping. But today it's obviously dropping, and this always happens, guys. If you see any crypto coin pumping, eventually it's going to drop. Okay, and that's exactly what Dogecoin is in fact doing. But Dogecoin is still holding up really well in my opinion. It's still at 8 cents. But overall, guys, other altcoins are in fact having a slight drop. Like I said, Not much movements today at all, guys. Okay, but everything in my personal opinion is still holding up really, really well. Okay, it really is. And just the end of this video, guys, for Bitcoin, right? I think right now is a great time to buy Bitcoin because you guys understand. Okay, back to talking about where Bitcoin is heading right in the next few days. I think Bitcoin could potentially pump because you guys understand every time Bitcoin consolidates, like what it did back in November to where it is now, you guys understand it's gonna pump. Okay, potentially, unless some bad news happens. Okay, for the crypto space, then obviously we will potentially see Bitcoin drop. But everything is looking pretty bright so far. Bitcoin is in fact in the right path. Okay, to potentially pumping to $30,000, and you guys can clearly see we are not too far away from that, right? Which is at this resistance line right here. But when Bitcoin was in fact consolidating back in November, we saw Bitcoin pump like crazy, and guess what? Bitcoin is obviously consolidating right now, and we could potentially see Bitcoin pump to at least $30,000, and I think that is Bitcoin's next move in the next few days, or maybe even the next few weeks, because Bitcoin right now is not moving, and we could actually see Bitcoin consolidate even more. But if you guys bought back, in Bitcoin when it was at $16,000 back in November, December, and January, okay, a couple months ago, you're blessed right now because obviously Bitcoin has pumped recently for the past few months. You guys can clearly see that. It absolutely pumped in March last month. You guys can clearly see that, right? Going all the way up to pretty much $28,000, almost 29K. I think at one point Bitcoin actually touched 29K, but then it dropped back down. So you guys understand this right here was potentially Bitcoin's bottom. Okay, potentially at the time. Okay, during the cycle, during this bear market, this right here was in fact Bitcoin's bottom. And I told you guys as many times that I uploaded a video 4 months ago on the 14th of November. You guys can clearly see that, titled "I'm going all in on Bitcoin." And in this video, guys, okay, I actually invested almost $20,000 into Bitcoin. Okay, the reason why I keep bringing this up is because, potentially I was sort of timing the market. I was actually dollar cost averaging into Bitcoin. I was buying Bitcoin bit by bit every week. Okay, and of course, not just Bitcoin, but also Ethereum, right? We can't forget about Ethereum. And of course, other altcoins, but my main investments were in fact Bitcoin and Ethereum, especially Bitcoin. So I was obviously dollar cost averaging, but I wasn't investing, tens and thousands of dollars into Bitcoin. I didn't want to go too hard. But once I saw this day, right, Bitcoin was down like over 2%, okay, 5%, right? Even a lot of altcoins were down a lot as well, like 10%, 5%, and whatnot. It was just, a red day for the crypto market. I bought in. Okay, in this video, I actually bought into Bitcoin. You guys can see at the time, Bitcoin was in fact at about $15,000, 15.9, just under 16K. And that's when guys actually did in fact buy Bitcoin. That's when Bitcoin was right around here. It was around this time right here, guys, literally. Okay, and obviously that was like literally Bitcoin's bottom. So if you guys really think about it, timing the market, when people say, timing the market doesn't really work, you should just dollar cost average. Sometimes it does work, but I would highly suggest you guys to just stick with dollar cost averaging, where you just invest into Bitcoin or whatever asset you're investing in pretty much every week or every 2 weeks or every month. It's really up to you. Personally, I just do it every week consistently, right? The same amount consistently, no matter what the market is doing, if it's pumping or dumping, just invest, right? You never really want to time the market. But at that time, guys, I was actually timing the market and actually worked because I actually bought the Bitcoin's bottom, like it's bottom when it was at, 15.9K. If you guys don't believe me, when I invested, almost $20,000 into Bitcoin, you guys can clearly see that, right? $17,500, and at that time I got 0.72% worth of a Bitcoin. I believe if you invest the same amount in Bitcoin with that price, you'll have around 41% of a Bitcoin. So I'm just really blessed that I bought Bitcoin at that time. And you guys are probably wondering, why is Bitcoin at 24K? You guys have to understand, I live in Australia. This is obviously AUD currency, okay, Australian currency. It's not USD, so that's why there's a bit of a price difference there. Okay, but obviously I did in fact buy Bitcoin when Bitcoin was in fact at 15.9k. You guys can clearly see that right there. Okay, so I know I keep bringing this up, but I'm just really blessed that I bought Bitcoin at its like bottom. You know what I mean? And I'm still obviously buying more. I'm still hodling, guys, of course. Okay, I haven't sold. I haven't took any of my profits from Bitcoin. I told you guys so many times that I am doing this for long term. I'm not here for short term. So I'm doing this for my future self. And I hope you guys are in fact as well. And I do think right now is a great time to buy some Bitcoin. Okay, even though it's been not really moving, but I think buying Bitcoin below 30k is a great buy. If you even bought Bitcoin below 20k, I think that was a great buy as well. But buying Bitcoin right now at about $28,000 for long term, I think that's a great buy. Okay, that's just personally my opinion. But guys, I'm gonna go ahead and end this video. I hope you guys all enjoyed it. Give a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel if you guys have not yet already. I really would appreciate that. And I'll catch you guys in my next video. Have a blessed day, guys.